Hi there, my name's Kirsty from Mamadoo Fitness, and today's video is to show you how you can check yourself for Diastasic Recti, which is commonly called tummy separation. The tummy separation is a terrible term because it kind of makes you think that the abdominal wall is just kind of ripped down the centre line. That's not the case at all. Our left and our right abdominal wall is joined together by a piece of fascia, connective tissue, and as our tummy grows during pregnancy, that piece of connective tissue is then stretched. So postnatally, when our tummy settles back down, that stretched piece of connective tissue can often remain stretched and then therefore loose. And that's what a diastasis recti is, not a complete ripping of the muscles. Okay, so nothing to panic about. It's very common. It's thought now that 100% of women during a third trimester will have a diastasis recti, purely because our stomachs are growing and that connective tissue has to be stretched. So that is therefore a diastasis recti. However, postnatally, not everybody then is left with tummy separation. Some people have fantastic collagen and skin elasticity, and therefore postnatally, after a few weeks, 8 weeks is usually the sort of the cut-off point postnatally, where the body can adapt and change. Some people just find that that just naturally sort of tightens up and draws back as it was pre-birth or pre-pregnancy. But for a large proportion of us, including myself, postnatally, that stretched piece of connective tissue remains stretched and weak until we do something about it. So let's have a look to see how we can check ourselves, because it's not always obvious that we have a diastasis recti. So it's really good to check. And sadly, we don't get checked mainly by the GPs now on our 6-week check. Okay, so it's good to do ourselves. So I'm just going to lift my top here so you can see. We're looking at this central line that runs down, and it runs from the base of the ribs or at the sternum all the way down the middle, down to the pubic bone. And then we've got our left and our right abdominal walls sitting either side. So it's this area here that we're checking. Okay, so you can do this in a lead down position. First of all, you can check lying down what we call neutral, so head and feet and everything is just nicely gently rested to the floor, placing 2 fingers at the belly button and just have a feel there. And then feel to the left side of the belly button onto the abdominal wall and onto the right side as well of the abdominal wall. And just notice if there's any change in tension. Does the left and the right abdominal wall feel a bit firmer than the area of the belly button? We're looking at how many fingers either side, between left and right, we can feel, but we're also looking at depth as well. Are we sinking down a little bit into that area, or is it quite sort of similar surface area to the left and the right tummy wall? Okay, we just travel up and feel the same, and then we travel below the belly button and feel the same. Now it might be quite hard to feel the tension here and any difference in tension. So the best thing to do, and what most clinicians agree on doing, is just placing one hand behind the head for a bit of support. We're going to create some internal pressure in the body by just lifting the head and shoulders a little bit. Okay, so from here then, getting your 2 fingers back to the belly button, have a feel now. Can you feel a difference here between the left and the right side of the abdominal wall and the area around the belly button? You might feel a ridge, a canal, lots of sort of terminologies here to distinguish between the tension of the abdominal wall and the central line. Okay, so if you are feeling anything, how many fingers width is that? 1, 2, 3 or more? And how deep does that feel? What's the tension like? Travel up 1 inch or so above the belly button and feel again. And travel all the way up following that line. Now you may find as you travel up the tension changes, so it might narrow and tighten, or it might widen and feel softer. Come back down to the belly button and go further down. And again, just notice the difference between the left and the right wall and coming down. And again, you might notice that it narrows and tightens, or it might widen and feel softer, or you may have a very similar feel from top to bottom. Okay. From here, just rest your head down, roll onto one side and come on up. So if you're feeling any difference between the middle and the left and the right, whether that's 1 finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers or more, and it's feeling a little bit deeper and softer compared to the surface tension of the left and the right, then that would suggest that you have a diastasis recti. It may be a minimal diastasis recti, so therefore not much tension change, but there is something to feel there. Or you might have a large diastasis recti, so you might have a really obvious change in tension between the middle, which feels soft and wide, compared to the either side of the wall. Okay, so don't panic, it's perfectly normal, perfectly common. However, we do want to sort it out, because otherwise, if our abdominal wall cannot work properly, because the tension's not here as it should be, when we're doing all our lifting and shifting and pushing and pulling, so lifting babies, lifting toddlers, pushing pushchairs, pulling pushchairs through doorways, taking car seats out of the car, things that we do a lot of every single day, then our tummy's not going to be working hard for us, and something else is going to kick in. You may notice backache, shoulder ache, neck ache, tension headaches, lots of things like that, clenching of jaws, tensing of thigh muscles, or gripping with feet. So there's all sorts of ways that the body's going to try and adapt to help us with those movement patterns. Okay, so we do need to strengthen it up, and I shall show you a few tips and tricks next on what not to do and what you can do. I'll give you a clue. It does not involve sit-ups or crunches. They should be avoided if you have a diastasis recti. Okay, thank you for listening. If you have any queries, please comment on below the video or send me a private message, and I will be very happy to help you out. Okay, see you soon. Bye for now.